Welcome back to WRPL. It's the podcast where we talk about all the things we were watching, reading, playing, and listening to. My name's Ben.
And I'm Steve.
What's up, Steve?
Not much, Ben. Happy to be back again to discuss all the movies you've seen.
I have a bit of a list. We will go through them quickly. And if you want any sort of further details, I'll let you say so. Our main topic is 28 years later, the Bone Temple. I only have one piece of news. You may have the same piece of news, but Kratos was cast.
That's the piece
of news. Steve, we're such friends. Ryan Hurst, known from Sons of Anarchy.
Sons of Anarchy, Remember the Titans, and a spattering of other things.
Yeah, he's Beta in Walking Dead, and he was pretty freaking awesome in that. That's all I really... Oh, and he was also the voice of Thor in God of War Ragnarok.
Yeah.
So that's great. I think this is a good casting.
Yeah.
You know, it's someone who isn't such a big name that people kind of roll their eyes at, or, well, they'll never get a season 2 because it'll be too expensive to bring this guy back. But he still has the face. I mean, he's always has that beard. Yeah. I saw someone do a fan casting of like, well, if this guy's not going to be Thor in the show, he's going to be Kratos. You watched Severance, right? Season 2?
Season 1 and a couple episodes of season 2.
Well, there's a guy in it. There's like a big, deep voice, burly guy who's an intimidating Milchek. And he has kind of like a foppish British, fancy boy haircut. But he's like enormous and he has this deep, bellowing voice. And he looks just like Thor. He's just this huge dude. But awesome. Yeah, I'm happy with this casting.
Yeah, me too. I like him. He's, I think he can definitely play. This, from Sons of Anarchy, this like badass, but also kind of like was the heart of that show for a little while, and also can play like deep sadness, which is like pretty much Kratos' whole shtick.
Yeah.
It's interesting. It makes sense to like jump in at like God of War 2018 versus like the past. Because then you can do like a bunch of like flashback stuff, but it's so weird to like do that too, because it's like, oh, hey, all this stuff that like we have to kind of like fast track unless we're just doing like, okay, if this show works, because I didn't play God of War 1 and 2. I jumped in at God of War 2018 and then played God of War 3 because that's the only thing that was like ported to PS4.
There's also like God of War Ascension. There's two other ones.
But like I'm fully aware of like the lore of those games.
He killed gods.
Yeah. And as badass as those games were, it wasn't like, and I could be wrong, people could argue with me, but it wasn't so much of like a character journey, because he was an angry guy at the beginning and he stayed angry all the way through, killing people, and then at the end it's like, oh well, he's dead. Or is he? And then he's not.
Yeah.
So
now he killed Zeus, and now he's in charge.
Yeah. So like, the revenge story isn't, while awesome, isn't like deep emotional storytelling, which is what like the next 2 games were. Yeah. So I get it.
It makes sense.
I'm interested to see what they do with like the past stuff. Or are they just going, well, we're not going to like dive too much into it, because if this works, then we'll do a spin-off
Kratos origin
story.
Young Kratos.
Yeah. Which, that might be alright, but we'll see.
I think it's the spectacle of those first games that people wanted to see. Like, you start God of War 3 climbing up the back of a Titan.
Yeah.
And, like, that's the level, is the Titan himself. And, like, how amazing is that? But those are so cinematic, you don't really need to turn them into a show or a movie, because you kind of get all of it right then and there.
Yeah, but I'd also argue that God of War, the new ones, are all cinematic because it's shot like cinematically. But at the same time, like the earlier games are, big budget action set pieces where like a lot of time Kratos is just like walking through the woods and talking to a severed head and stuff. So you could probably, it's a lot easier to shoot than like, oh, well, this season we're going to Mount fucking Olympus.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But
yeah,
I think it's good casting. I'll be interested to see if the show's any good.
Yeah. Well, we forgot to roll, but let's just do that now. Come on, Steve. What is it, 17?
A 2.
Ooh.
You needed that one.
Okay, all right. Here's
my
my
the first of the year, or I forget? Of the new...
No, you did 16 last time.
Nice.
Yeah. But it doesn't really matter, like, first of the year, because it counts from, like, July when we do the brackets.
Okay.
You know, it's
right. Never mind.
last half of that year, first half of this
Understood.
year.
18. That's a good one.
All right. I needed that. Okay, well, I got a ton of stuff. Okay, so I got a quick little story first. Like, I had realized I wasn't watching shit. I'd get home from work. I'd be too tired to pick anything. I'd end up just scrolling on my phone or watching YouTube. And then when I would be heading to work or on my lunch break, well, that's my YouTube time. And I wasn't having anything to watch because I'm watching all my YouTube stuff at home. Mm-hmm. And like, you know what? I gotta flip it. I gotta change the dynamic. And so much stuff that I want to watch is on Hulu. And I don't have Hulu on my TV. It's only on my phone because I'm still taking it from a former friend. And he hasn't booted me off of it yet. So I can only watch that stuff on my phone. And I'm not doing that at home. Mm-hmm. So it just makes sense to watch the movies and stuff I want to see before I get to work or on my lunch break. And then when I get home, I don't have to feel pressured to watch any of the big things because I'm probably going to fall asleep watching it anyways. So doing that, I've watched a ton of movies. Right. And I can just crank one out every single day. And also, I could watch a movie. Cranking it out every single day. So I watched a ton of stuff. I watched like a bunch of things in theaters. So I'll go through, you know, whatever you want to hear more of, I'll talk more of. But,
okay. Never mind. Go ahead.
So I'll do just like two, and then we'll go to you, and then we'll go back and forth.
Works for me.
All right. So one movie that I thought was just a good, fun time, isn't 100% historically accurate, is The Luckiest Man in America. Paul Walter Hauser plays a man named Michael who goes on to press your luck and takes them for as much money as he possibly can. He figured out that they only had 5 patterns in it, and he just had to wait until a certain light showed up and then count a certain amount of times, and it would always land on one of these 2 spots that never had whammies. Mm-hmm. And so he would just win and win and win. And you get the panic of the people in the back, like, he's at $30,000. No one's ever won $30,000. And he ended up taking them for $110,000 by the end of it. Now,
I heard this story, but I didn't realize it was that much money.
Yeah, and it was the most money ever on a game show ever. Now, of course, we have like Millionaire and stuff. You can win a lot more. But at that time, you know, $20,000 was kind of like the max. They take some liberties of like having his ex-wife call in and hearing her talk, you know, mm-hmm. and then like calling him out for being he's kind of a con artist. Got some people involved with Ponzi schemes. He always felt like he needed to get rich quick. Mm-hmm. And this was his thing. I did watch a little documentary after it that kind of showed the whole episode, because that episode only aired once. Yeah. And they were like, never again until years later when Game Show Network picked it up. And, like, his life wasn't great after that. He lost a bunch of it, got involved in some other things, you know, and then, like, died poor. But, like, I think Paul Walter Hauser does a really good job impersonating this guy. Just looks and sounds exactly like him.
That guy's a good actor.
Yeah, he is really good. And he's good at playing, like, down-and-out losers. Walton Goggins is great in it. I'm already talking too much about this movie, but, like, I thought it was a good time, even if they totally took a million fucking liberties with
how Walton Goggins the game show host?
The game show host,
nice.
Yeah.
Shout out to Goggins.
And then I watched
American Sweatshop.
And this is a story of a company that they do the moderation for social media. Mm-hmm. If someone flags something as being obscene or violent or whatever, these are the people who
I think I did watch a trailer for this.
Okay. Yeah, they watch it and then they flag it if it's that bad or not. And it just takes a toll on these people. I think it's Lily Reinhardt is the main woman. And she can't afford to go to school to be a nurse or anything. She has to do this. And she comes across a video called like Nailed or something like that. Or like Nailed in the Crotch or whatever. And it's like a woman getting a nail hammered into her vagina. And they do a really good job of kind of not showing you, but you hear it. And like people are watching horrible things done to animals and stuff like that, and it really takes the toll on them, and they start having like mental breakdowns. I thought this was gonna go. Did you ever see 8mm with Nick Cage?
No.
So it's like in that, like there was a girl that went missing. He tries to find this girl for her mom, and she ended up getting involved in like the snuff film industry, and finds out she's dead, and gets permission from the mom, like, let me make these people pay for what they did. It doesn't go that hard. You know, she's doing investigation and trying to figure out, and it is pretty tense, but it doesn't go to the extremes that I wanted it to. That's just not the movie it was trying to be. But it was still pretty good. I wanted to go further, but for what it was, you know, not so bad.
All right. My turn. Well, let's so what would you? Let's give out some grades.
I gave
Luckiest Man on Earth.
Luckiest Man in America, I gave a B, and American Sweatshop, I gave a B-.
All right. I guess I will do a movie. I watched Red Rocket.
Oh, okay.
On Netflix. Sean Baker's movie before he did Honora. At least I don't think he had anything in between this and Honora.
Sure.
The story of a guy who spent like 20 years in the porn industry, moves back to a small Texas town where his ex-wife lives, and begins a relationship with a young girl who works at a local donut shop. This movie, I enjoyed it. It is basically the story of a real like shitty dude who, you know, is a pedophile at this point. I don't know what Texas laws are, if like technically what he was doing wasn't illegal because she was like 17,
Yeah.
But you know, she was like still in high school and he's like, I think in his 40s. So either way, like kind of gross. Not kind of gross. It just is gross. But like I feel like I've seen this guy in real life. He just, Simon Rex, who like probably most famous for like Scary Movie 3.
MTV.
Yeah. But he's really good at playing this sort of like, this loser who's just like trying to like manipulate everyone into like, you know, helping him out, like talking to his ex-wife and just like, hey, let me stay here. And she's like, no, you've been gone for like years. Like, why the fuck would I let you stay here? And he's just like, I'm trying to get my life back together because the porn industry didn't work out for him. But he's like, becomes friends with the next door neighbor and he's talking himself up like, oh yeah, I used to, you know, hook up with Jenna Hayes and it's like Sasha Grey and stuff. And you never see any porn in this movie.
Sure.
There is nudity, but it's not like egregious or anything. But the whole time he's just like saying like how, you know, how many awards he's won. And he's like, I got the award for like best oral. It's like, well, shouldn't that go to the girl? Because you don't know. It's like, well, yeah, it goes to anyone who's like in the scene. It's like, but you didn't really do anything. Yeah. And he's just making an argument for it. It's like, no, like I have to do a lot and whatever. Anyway, so like even though he is a loser, he is like kind of charismatic and everything he's doing is like not good, but it's still like kind of a charming, fun little like, I don't want to say slice of life movie because like most people haven't worked in the porn industry, but everyone in this
that number probably changed once COVID hit. Then the number moved up.
But this has all the Sean Baker staples of just like, you know, story being somewhat based in like sex work, and everyone in this movie other than Simon Rex and I think his wife was in stuff, like are all nobodies and locals or just like small time actors who like you haven't seen in anything else. I think this was the young girl who plays his 17-year-old girlfriend, who I think was 25 when they shot this, but very young looking face, very believable. I think this was her first movie, and I think she was like really, really good. But it wasn't like for her character, it was never like, oh, this guy's taking, I mean, he's taking advantage of her, but it's like he didn't trick her into like the second they meet, it's like sparks flew and she was into him like from the get-go. Yeah. It's not like he had to like groom her for a while or anything. But yeah, it was a fun watch. Like I said, I wouldn't say it's like one I would recommend to people because it is like just a small indie film. But it's the first performance of his where I'm like, oh man, this guy's like pretty good. And despite it being about, you know, a porn guy pedophile, kind of not a bad movie. And yeah, I think it doesn't. it doesn't give you any like hope for this guy,
Okay.
but it also is kind of just like, he'll be all right. I don't know.
Okay.
So, I think you would like it.
Okay.
I don't think.
What does that say about me?
Yeah. So Red Rocket, I'll give a B-.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I enjoyed it, but it's not anything I have to like rush out and see.
But you haven't seen any of his other work, right?
No, I watched Tangerine because when that came out, I heard like great things about it. And Tangerine, I didn't necessarily care for. It was fine. I think the big like thing that was drawing people in was like entirely shot on an iPhone when like iPhones were like kind of new, and it was I hadn't seen anything like it, and it was more or less interesting, but it wasn't like a really well shot movie because it was like so cheap looking.
Okay.
But
he did Florida Project as well.
He did Florida Project. I haven't seen that one. I'd be willing to watch that one. Florida Project, before Nor was his most like Oscar baited movie. So yeah, Sean Baker is a filmmaker I have deep respect for, making these like smaller films with like no names, but also like none of his movies so far, other than Honora, have been like, wow, that's really great. But he's a solid filmmaker.
I bet he has something coming out this year. You always kind of have to look at like who had something coming out 2 years ago to see what do they got coming out. Apparently, one of the movies that we did in our What's That is an M. Night Shyamalan movie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, and then one, I Love Boosters, is the guy who made Sorry to Bother You.
Sorry to Bother You was...
The director of that directed I Love Boosters, which was another one of those...
Sorry to Bother You is which one movie again?
The Telemarketers with Lakeith Stanfield.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so like, we got some weird ones coming up. Anyhow.
Wasn't that Boots Riley?
Yes.
Is that who directed?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, I finished a book. The only other book, and maybe his only other book, from Nick Cutter, is called The Deep. And, I don't know. Maybe Troop is just like a fluke, or everything just came together with that one, because I didn't really care for this one either.
Troop is his newest one, right? Or
no, I think I would have to... No, The Queen is his newest one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I think The Troop may be its first.
Oh.
For all I know.
Strong start, downturn. Okay.
So this is kind of like The Abyss meets The Thing meets maybe Jacob's Ladder or In the Mouth of Madness. Like that sounds pretty cool. And it's pretty much the world there's like a pandemic going on called the Gets. It's like short for Forgets, and it makes you forget simple things like how to swallow, or, like it was happening to the bees first. They forgot how to fly. It came to humans, and so they're trying to figure out, what do we do? How do we fix this? They discover this stuff called ambrosia, and it's coming out of the Mariana Trench. And they figured it out because there was an anglerfish, and it came up to the surface, and it wasn't destroyed by the pressure. And like, what the hell? This thing would look totally different if it came all the way up and still being alive. That's impossible for that to happen. And then they see that there's this stuff coming out of it called ambrosia, and that's what's keeping this fish alive. I'm like, well, maybe it could work with humans. Mm-hmm. So they send this guy down. He's just a normal vet. He lost his son in a freak like hide and go seek accident. Like his son went to hide in the park and no one ever saw him again. His wife left him, and his super duper crazy smart brother is down in the Mariana Trench working on this stuff and had sent for him. And he's like, why me? We don't get along. He thinks I'm an idiot. I'm just a vet. And send him down, and wacky stuff starts happening. And it starts like people start going insane, like trying to hurt themselves, but now they're infected with this stuff and it won't let them die, and like constantly cutting their throat and body over and over again, and it's constantly just healing instantly. There's like a really gross part where a dog merges with another dog, and it's very graphic, like butter melting into each other sort of things. Ugh. It's really horrific. And then it like ends with this super crazy cosmic being sort of thing, like these two cosmic beings saying, yeah, we're just fucking around, and like we didn't create the Gets, but like we created the Ambrosia, or whatever the fuck it's called, because we want you guys to get down here and figure out a way to unleash us. They're like stuck in the Mariana Trench, and they want to be released. And so, like, his son that disappeared in a hide and seek accident, that was them. They're just fucking with humans because it's fun, and our pain is entertainment for them. And they're like, look, we had to set these things in motion. We had to take your son away from you, break you down, lure you down here, and then look, we will give you your son back, but you have to, bring us up to the surface and let us be released. And of course, he does it. And the book kind of ends there. So it gets like crazy at the end and interesting, but it takes so long to get there. And I thought it was going to be a little more simpler, like The Thing. There is a monster here, and we got to but it's more of a psychological fucking with you. Interesting. Better than the last one that I read, but I didn't love this. He's a whiz with the description, man. This guy knows how to make you smell something on the page, but his stories just feel so disconjointed with different things going on.
So you're done with Nick Cutter, or like if he comes out with a new thing, you're like, I'll check it out. Depends on the premise.
It really depends on the premise. But see, all these premises have sounded interesting so far.
Yeah.
So I keep getting. It's like I'm just wanting to read horror stories. So like maybe I just got to find a different author right now. But I got another one waiting for me, but I had to put a pause on it because I just finished that one book last week, and I had like a million podcasts to catch up on. Because whenever I read a book, I don't listen to my podcast because I don't like going back and forth between it, because I only got 2 weeks with the book, and it's like, hey, your other book's ready. Like I gotta catch up. So I got something. I don't even remember what it is, but maybe next week I'll have another book.
All right. Well, speaking of The Thing, I think it was a good transition. I played a game called Still Wakes the Deep. It is a horror survival game. It's an indie game. It's like 4.5 hours long. It takes place on an oil rig in 1975 in Scotland, and you play like an electrician on this oil rig, and it's just any other day. And as a story, it's all in first person. When you just see what they see through their eyes. That's first person. Yeah. And so you're this guy, and your wife is like wrote you a letter, and she is thinking about leaving you, and your boss fires you because you punched a guy, and the cops are after you, and so like this is your last day on the rig, and then as they're drilling, a big accident happens. And he wakes up, and hilarity ensues. There's like this fleshy substance that's like making its way like through the rig. You never see it really like move. It's just like it'll be turned down a hallway, and then you'll just see this thing there. And anytime you get close to it, your like vision gets kind of blurry. And essentially, eventually, that substance, whatever it is like turning a couple of your crewmates into these like imagine it's like you, but from the waist down is like this giant tumor that shoots out like tentacles that move around. It's trying to like, I guess, like absorb everybody. It's also like kind of gross because you might turn a corner and then there's this like a giant face like melded into like the wall. It doesn't really explain what this thing is. It's just this like substance that they unearthed deep in the sea.
Do you have a gun or anything like that? No,
this game has zero action whatsoever.
Okay, so you're just moving around?
You're just moving around. You're like going through vents. You might have to basically there's all the missions are like, you need to get to this part of the rig and flip this switch. Basically, like, you're trying to get power back on so you can get to other things. But meanwhile, like, the rig is, like, getting more and more damage to it. This monster is, like, after you here and there. And it's just, like, killing off this, entire crew. And I heard good things about this game, and that's why I got it. And it was, like, less than $10, I think, when I got it. I was like, cool, 4.5 hour game, $8 or whatever it was. Horror, I'll check it out. And it wasn't particularly scary. I thought there'd be a bunch of monsters. There's really only like one at any given time. And I thought they'd be like different Cthulhu kind of like monsters or something like that. But it's just like blob with tentacles.
Yeah, okay.
So the monster I didn't think was that like scary. Except there is a sequence where you're like going across the deck and it's like foggy, and then there's like its silhouettes kind of like going in and out of the fog and stuff. And like some of that's pretty cool. But it's basically just, jump and interact with whatever button or switch or whatever you're doing. It's really simple. The story, like, I could see it being a movie. I think there is potential here. Like, this could be a solid, 2-hour film. And maybe just, like, change the creature a little bit.
Okay.
Or, like, make more of them. I don't know. Because it doesn't explain what it is or, like, what its purpose is. It's just, like...
probably just something from the deep.
Just something from the deep. And... Do you want me to spoil it for you?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. So spoilers for this. It gets to the end. It's killed the entire crew. They realize, like, hey, there's, like, at one point it's, like, this flesh thing has wrapped itself around the rig, essentially, and has made this, like, pyramid of, like, flesh. And it's, like, driving you kind of crazy, and you're seeing your wife and stuff. And they're like, dude, like, his last surviving crew member's just like, it's an oil rig. Light this bitch up, kill this thing, because when rescue comes, it's going to, like, get on there. It can't get back to the mainland. Mm-hmm. So the guy who's, like, the whole gang, you're like, I just want to go home to my wife and kids. And he sacrifices himself, blows up the thing. And then, the game ends with, like, him at home, like, saying, like, goodbye to his wife and closing the door. So, like, emotionally, there's, like, some solid stuff here. And it could be, like, a fun little movie, but in terms of like a fun game, I wouldn't say it's fun, but not a bad, but not terrible. It was fine, especially for the price. Like if you drop $30 on this, I'd be like, I fucking wasted that money. Yeah. But for like under $10, 4 hours of your time, solid story. There's something here, so it still makes a deep C+.
Okay, all right. It's crazy. My book was called The Deep. Your game was called something of the Deep. Yeah. It was great.
Maybe C. We'll go C.
I watched 3 things that all involved cops. So, bing, bang, boom. Cops. I love cops. First one was Sovereign with Jacob Tremblay and Nick Offerman.
Oh, yeah. I'd see that.
Which, I really enjoyed. I'm surprised more people didn't talk about it. Maybe its problem is from the first 2 minutes, it kind of like you hear police radio chatter, and then we jump back a couple of weeks, and so we kind of know how it's going to end up. And with that knowledge, I mean, I guess it's based off of a true story that I was unaware of, but when you have that knowledge, you just kind of know what the inevitable is. But it's a story about Nick Offerman. He has lost his wife and his second child, his daughter, like from SIDS, I believe it was. Okay. And so it's just him and his son. And his son is homeschooled. And by homeschooled, it's like, read this packet. It's not like his dad's really teaching him, in the normal sense. But they're going to lose the house, and the dad claims to be a sovereign citizen. Those annoying fuckers who think that they are above the law, and none of it applies to them. America was founded illegally, so their laws don't matter. It's like, things I totally understand, but you don't actually have any sort of basis of reality of this working. He's constantly just manipulating words of like taking them for a different reason, and then that's supposed to be profound. And he's going around talking in little bingo halls and churches and stuff, getting people to give him donations, and he's going to open up their eyes. He's all in a white suit, like a preacher, and it's just dumb shit. Like, you ever notice on your birth certificate that your name is in all capital letters? Why is that? What else is also in capital letters? Corporations. That's right. And like, oh, and what is that supposed to mean? It's like, I was never delivered something. Oh, we got a letter in the mail saying they're taking our house, but that's not what delivered means. He goes to court, and the judge is like, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. We're going to side with the plaintiff, and so the judge walks off like, oh, well, the judge left the court, so he abandoned the trial, so that means I'm in charge and I'm dismissing the case. We won, son, and like hurries off, like just completely out of his mind. It's like he's playing Ron Swanson, who is unintelligent.
Yeah.
You know, knows a lot about something that is... It's like knowing a bunch of lore about one book, and that's all you know. You know the laws of Lord of the Rings and all the language and stuff, but you don't know fuck about the real world.
Got it. Understood.
So he comes off really well spoken, but he just doesn't know shit. And then it ends in tragedy, and yeah,
hilarity ensues.
And but I really did enjoy it. I believe I gave that one also a B.
All right, cool.
Okay. Next cop movie called The Rip. Netflix's Ben Affleck, Matt Damon movie. And, a bunch of other people.
If there's one movie trailer this year where it's like, yep, that looks pretty mediocre, this would be the movie.
And it was, I picked it just because it was 20 minutes of, well, what's on Peacock? Okay, I'm locked out of Peacock. Okay, what's on Amazon? No, nothing I want to see. And it was like, oh yeah, this is a new thing. I like Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. I guess. I think I like them. I like Matt Damon more than Ben Affleck. That's for damn sure.
They're like more or less unoffensive actors. Like they put out solid stuff. They don't, make a ton of shit or anything like that. They're like, they're reliable watches.
I like Ben Affleck in interviews more than I like him as a human being or in his movies. But he was doing an impression of another actor, and it was really good, and it was really funny, and he's like fluent in Spanish that I never knew. But he's really bad in this. I think Ben Affleck is kind of a shit actor in this. Matt Damon is just kind of there. They're cops, and their police chief gets killed, and could be someone in their group that's doing it. They're gonna they get a tip that there's $150,000 in this house. Turns out it's like $20 million. Oh, do we take it? Who? Everyone's kind of looking at each other like, yeah, we should take it, but no, we got to do it legally. Why is Matt Damon acting so weird? Oh, is he in on it? Is he just trying to get the rat? And by the time you get to the end, it's 15 minutes of, now let us explain how we figured this all out. And then they're just going through it, and it sucks. It's not great. I give it a C- because it's
that's kind of what I expected from it.
It's propaganda. It's so look, there's some good ones out there. Weeding out the bad one. Shut the fuck up. No, they're not. And then I saw a new release in theaters called Night Patrol with Justin Long.
As when I saw this playing at the theater, I was like, yep, Ben is going to go see that movie.
All I knew was LA cops, vampires. I'm like, okay, that's a good enough plot for me.
You got Justin Long in the lead. I'm there.
I'm cool with that. And so my thought was, okay, LA cops, the Crips and the Bloods.
Oh, shit.
Okay, they're the perfect vampires, and they're the Night Patrol, taking out the scum. No. The cops are the vampires, and the Bloods and the Crips are so weird. The Crips are mystical Zulu Nation voodoo people, and the Bloods are deep conspiracy, lizard people conspiracy theory guys. And when one of, they got to team up together because the Night Patrol kills, indiscriminately, and it's and it gets really weird at the end, mystical powers and stuff at the end.
Not where I thought that movie was going.
Yeah, it's so weird. It takes big swings, and people are trying. You could tell, some of these actors are pretty okay. I think Justin Long's kind of the wrong person for this role, but he's doing a great job. He's killing it once he gets turned into a vampire, and he's trying to overcome the thirst. He's doing a really great job. But then you could tell, oh, these are musicians, right? They're when a sports guy goes onto SNL, and you're oh, don't act, they're trying their best, but they're not great. So it's all over the place, talent wise, and it feels like something I would have thought of. The moment you think Bloods and Crips and vampires, it writes itself, but they do a flip on it.
Does the movie explain why Crips and Bloods are at war with each other? If one's a conspiracy theorist,
has always been. It has nothing to do with those sort of beliefs. Okay. They're at war because in the real world, Crips and Bloods are against each other.
Well, I understand that. I just wasn't sure if
There's nothing
based on this
deeper.
movie that their two beliefs like were counterintuitive to each other.
I mean, they both think they're crazy, but that's about it.
Okay.
It's still sort of turf war, respect, sort of dumb gang bullshit.
But like, did the Bloods always know vampires existed, or they didn't believe him, or like they thought they existed but had no real evidence?
Yes.
But the Mystic Crips, like they always knew because they've been fighting this war for ages.
Not really, because they were like, I knew they were demons, but I didn't know they were vampires. Yeah, I know. It's like there's ideas here that I really, really like, but it doesn't feel like they knew enough of all subjects. Like maybe they knew a lot about the Zulu culture, but didn't know what to give the Blood. So just turned them into crazy conspiracy theorists. It's messy, and I think this could be a really good, interesting story, but it's kind of cheap. The gore looks great. Like they do a good job with that. But yeah, all over the place. Quality.
Do they have all the like classic vampire stuff of like they need to, do they dislike garlic? Is it stakes to the heart?
They even say like,
do you have to invite them in?
No, none of that. They even say like, oh, you may think you're gonna wait us out until the sun comes up, but we're pretty durable. We could survive it for a bit. And it's like, okay, so what are their?
Why would you tell them that? It's just like, just be like, okay, we gotta go. And the second they walk outside, then just eat them. Whatever. Anyway, I don't care.
Yeah. So it's not very good. And I mean, I'm talking at the end, the main dude is putting on like Zulu tribal war garb with a glowing spear and like a Green Lantern looking ring. He's not making constructs, but they're like flying in the air, and it's so weird.
All right.
Yeah. It's kind of a like watch with your friends to make fun of, but then also go like, damn, there's a good movie here somewhere, but oh well.
Shame. So earlier tonight, I watched Hamnet, the big Oscar baity movie from director Chloe Zhao, who directed Best Picture winner Nomadland and The Eternals, a movie I like more than other people do.
Yeah.
But I've only watched one time.
Yeah, whenever I think back, like, oh, I want to rewatch some Marvel stuff, I always think, I should rewatch Eternals. I've seen it twice, but I'd rather rewatch that than Captain America Brave New World,
Yeah. So, anyway, I heard this movie's sad, and, going into it, I just, I like watching Oscar stuff for the most part. Sometimes there's one where like, I know I'm not going to like that movie. It seems very pretentious. This had the potential to be that, but I liked Chloe Zhao's other work well enough. And I just knew this was like a performance movie. Like Paul Mescal and Jessie Buckley are great. And that is very much true. This is like the Jessie Buckley movie, though. Like, even though it's about William Shakespeare and his family, Shakespeare is like second fiddle to her in this. And I'll just say I will never watch this movie again because I cried for about an hour. And I'm not even like exaggerating. Like, if you have any form of empathy in you, or like you're a parent who's either lost a child or just has children, this movie fucked me up. There's movies that I've seen that have made me cry. Like I talked about Wild Robot last year, made me cry 3 times, but they were all like more or less just kind of like single tear moments or whatever. I was like sobbing in this movie. Like I didn't know a movie could do this to me.
Were there lots of people in your theater?
No, I was the only one.
Oh, that's
which
good.
Thank God, because if I was sniffling like a motherfucker. This movie is very well shot. Chloe Zhao knows how to shoot a movie for sure, and like a lot of the movies like shot kind of like in the woods, and Jessie Buckley's usually wearing like a red dress, so she really stands out. There's like good use of color there. The first like 45 minutes of the movie is just kind of like Shakespeare meeting her and like their relationship and how they fall in love, and she's kind of got like this sort of mysticism to her. Like people in the town think she's the daughter of a witch, and but she because she likes being in the woods and uses medicine or whatever, and like all of her children like her firstborn is born in the woods just like she was born in the woods, because this is like what the women in her family do. And when she holds your hand, she can like kind of see the future. So there's like a fantastical element to it, but it's never like this is actual magic. Like, that is just like her belief.
Okay.
And Shakespeare's just like into it. And then, you meet their children and tragedy strikes. It's not,
is it just illness of the time?
Yeah, I don't know if they ever say what it is, but let's just call it like consumption.
Okay, it's not like a bucket from the barn fell on his head or anything.
No. It's like an actual disease.
Okay.
And the way that scene plays out is like kind of beautiful because it comes sort of unexpectedly because you think it's going to be another child, but it's actually the other one.
Okay.
If you don't know anything about it, like I knew who it was going to be from the jump, and that scene was just like real hard to watch, and like I'm crying there, and then for the next hour I'm just thinking about like that scene, so I'm like all sad, and then you get to the end, which has like they reconstructed it, I think, like I imagined historically accurately the Shakespearean theater that he like put on Hamlet, and from a production design standpoint just like looks great even though it's so simple. There's parts of this movie where they're like going to buildings like this kind of looks like the Renaissance fair, but it looks cheap, but also like I imagine that's what it also looked like back then.
Yeah, uh-huh.
So it was, I don't know, production design was I thought was pretty good in this movie. And then the ending, which, don't get me wrong, they're basically, you see parts of like they're putting on the Hamlet play, and I'm like, I don't know what the fuck these guys are talking about because I don't understand Shakespearean language.
Yeah.
I'm getting like some context clues. Like obviously there's
I've never read or seen any Hamlet.
Yeah.
I don't know the story of Hamlet besides
if you saw the Lion King,
the Lion King.
Yeah. Your uncle tries to kill you.
Yeah.
And usurp the throne. But the ending, I was just like, I started crying again. I'm walking out of the theater. Like I went home to like hug my wife because I just felt like so fucking sad. And I wanted to hug my son, but he's asleep. And I like go into the mirror and like my eyes are so red because I was crying for so long. And this movie is great. I would not recommend it. Like, you wouldn't think anything of this movie. You don't have a soul. You would be like, I didn't get it.
It's just a fucking kid. Get over it.
But boy, howdy, I thought this was very effective, and I see why Jessie Buckley is the front runner for actress. This is a pretty unforgiving role. Like, she is miserable for a good portion of the movie. And also, like, I don't know if I've seen her in that stuff. I think I have, but I couldn't point it out. But she's also, like, very pretty in this movie. So shout out, because everyone talks about how handsome Mescal is. And he is. He's a good-looking man. But she's very pretty. Anyway, that's beside the point. This movie is really fantastic, but I would not recommend it to anybody, really. I told my wife, like, do not watch this movie. Because she's like, if you cry this much, like, I'm going to be a mess, because she cries at like a ton of stuff. So it's like, yeah, I'm so glad we didn't see this together because we would have just been crying the whole time. So Hamnet, I'm gonna give an A-, just because it's not a movie I plan on seeing again, or like I said, recommending to people, really, because it is kind of a bummer. Even though there are like moments of like joy and love and hope and all that stuff, it's very minimal. But it's a great film, so for that reason it gets an A-, an A, and then the minus part just comes from like the devastation it left in me. Yeah. So
would it have made your top 10?
I think so. I think it would have been number 10. It probably would have bumped out the Knives Out. It's hard because it's a movie for every aspect of it, I'm like, that's a great fucking film. But I also include movies that like just entertain me and like really enjoyed. And it's not a movie I enjoyed, but it's the movie that has made me feel the most anything I've ever felt in any movie I've ever seen. Damn. So I think it would probably be my top 10 for sure, because this shit fucked me up.
All right, I got two more. I'll be quick with both of them. I saw All You Need Is Kill, the anime adaptation of the book that Edge of Tomorrow was based off of, and I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all.
I thought this was like a slam dunk for you.
Nope, it's vibrant. It's got a really unique art style, but God, it's boring to watch. It is a slog.
Wow.
And and then it gets to the end, like so many anime things do. It like, I don't know. The best way I could put it is like kind of gets up its own ass, and like it's like, okay, so Tom Cruise and Emily Blunt, they stop the thing, but then Tom Cruise turns into the manifestation of the thing, and then they got to fight each other. You know, it's one of those things. And like, stupid. And then maybe it happens in the book and whatever. I don't care. It's dumb. I didn't like it. The aliens are like flowery, and they don't look nearly as cool as the weird like living techno-organic things that were killing Tom Cruise. Yeah, I was like checked out after the first, I don't know, 30 minutes, and it's only like 85 minutes, and I was just, okay, let's wrap this shit up.
Was any of the voice cast? Well, first off,
I looked on IMDb and they only had the Japanese cast.
Oh, okay. So you didn't recognize any of the voices in this movie?
No, not offhand, and I didn't stay through the credits to see what it said. And like, get me the fuck out of here.
Fair. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's good to know that because that was also a movie I was like, oh yeah, I'll check this out. I liked Edge of Tomorrow quite a bit.
I love Edge of Tomorrow.
A ton of fun.
I hate the ending of that one too because it just doesn't make sense in the rules that established. But this one, I didn't care for at all.
Good to know. So I can skip it.
Yeah, you could skip it. I was kind of hoping like maybe, you know, if we didn't do this so late, like I wanted to know Nick's thoughts on it.
So what was your grade?
Oh, I gave it a C-.
C-? All right.
Yeah. Maybe I give it a C+. Hold on. No, C+. Yeah. So, you know, it's like for an anime, it's pretty average. Plus, because, you know, art style is very nice. You know. And then I saw just today a movie I'm kicking myself for not seeing in theaters last year because it was one of those, like, I wanted to just take a risk on it. I didn't know anything about it, but let's do it. And damn it, I missed a good one. It's called Twinless. It's on Hulu right now.
Dylan O'Brien movie? I've heard nothing but good things. I don't know what it's about, though.
It is so good. I really liked it.
All right, well, don't tell me any spoilery stuff.
I won't tell you, and there is some stuff. So it is, it's written and directed by James Sweeney, who also stars in it. And it is about two men who are twins, and they each lost their twin brother. And so they connect at a self-help group for people who've lost their twins. And they just kind of like start a friendship because of it. And, you know, about, I'd say 30 minutes in, there is like a revelation that is brought forward that changes the whole movie. And it just had me fucking locked in. And, you know, and maybe I'm overhyping it, but I thought this is really good. Dylan O'Brien's performance is so good because you only really get a couple of scenes of his twin in a flashback, and like his twin is gay. The other dude, the director, he's gay, and his twin was straight. So they're kind of like, oh, isn't this kind of funky?
Funny.
And like, I don't know, he just like, I kind of wish we followed the gay version. He's like, he's got so much charm, and the straight one he's kind of a little more of a doofus. But anywho, great movie, fucking loved it. A-. Awesome. I had a great time watching it.
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah.
And you said it's on
Hulu.
Hulu?
Yeah.
Okay. I have Hulu.
Great to have Hulu. So, all right, let's get to one quick final thing before we get to our main topic. Game of Thrones is a night in the Seven Kingdoms?
Night of the Seven.
A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. The story of Sir Duncan the Tall and his squire Aegon Targaryen, or one of the Aegon Targaryens. I guess he's the great-grandfather of the Mad King.
Got it.
I think that's what it's supposed to be, because this is 100 years before Game of Thrones, and in like 200 years after House of Dragons. It's like right. somewhere in the middle. Dragons are dead, you know, but we still get our Baratheons and stuff. It's the same old shit, you know. The world of the medieval times is just like a never-ending, like horrible nightmare. And
this is their comedy. And like from the jump, it was making me laugh. I like the editing is what is so funny about this. Yeah, the opening scene is like this dour, like this knight burying his like former master that he squired for, and then he's looking off into the distance, and then you hear the dun 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 dun, and then just cuts to him taking a huge fucking shit. And I was like, wow, this is how you're like opening with this? Like your hero is having diarrhea on screen?
In less than a year, I've now seen 2 things where I've seen poop come out of butts on screen. Like, it's one thing you see the legs, you see the plop or whatever, you hear it. You don't see the diarrhea squirting, but you do. But just anytime he would say like, yeah, maybe you hit me a few times, and they'd cut to him getting smacked around a bunch. It is very funny. And this lead actor, who I know from nothing, is
I don't know if I've ever seen him before.
He's just a really tall guy who's kind of a little bit of a doofus, but there's something
a himbo-esque character.
Yeah, like I'm rooting for him.
Yeah.
And then his little, squire, Aang the Last Avatar, the last Airbender. I don't know much about him yet. He's only had like 2 real scenes. Mm-hmm. Maybe he'll grow on me. Right now, I don't like his big dumb bald head, but he's doing a good job as a squire. So and it's only 6 episodes. All the episodes are going to be like a half hour to 45 minutes. It's not nearly as long as some of the other ones. Yeah, I'm game.
Yeah, I enjoyed this first episode. It was basically just him. Any person he interacted with, just gave him a bunch of shit.
Yeah. Hey, you big dumb fucking idiot.
Yeah.
Why you slouching so much, you big tall fuck?
Why do you smell bad? Why do you look poor? Mm-hmm. Oh, you're a knight. There's no way you're a knight. Yep. You clearly stole that sword or whatever it is. But he is just so honest and himself, and just he just wants to be a knight so bad, and he wants to do good. Like, he believes sort of the it's like, join the police force because you're you want to do good. Yeah. And then you find out everyone you work for is a piece of shit. Uh-huh. And the world is a tough place that doesn't give a fuck about you. But I read this book. I talked about it on the podcast. It's been a while since I didn't read it. It was an audiobook. So I don't have it as deeply ingrained in my head as if I actually read the novel.
It's not that long though.
But it's not that long. It's just kind of little 4 separate, I think 3 or 4 separate stories of the adventures of Dunk and Egg. And it's just compared to Game of Thrones, where you're really into this big sweeping cast and this big political stuff. It's really just about the adventures of these 2 people and the sort of wacky antics they get into. But yeah, it's real likable. I like the characters. The new Baratheon guy is a ton of fun. He seems like such a pirate-esque character. I don't know how much he's going to be in it, but he seems like a ton of fun.
Yeah.
And I like that even though everyone's kind of giving him shit, most of the smaller people he's interacting with can tell he's a decent person, and they're kind of rooting for him.
Yeah.
The prostitutes gave him a bunch of shit, but they're no, we'll help you out.
Yeah.
The squire who's hey man, you should beat up my cousin because he's kicking my ass. He's oh, I'll get this guy some food.
Yeah.
So I just like that it's people doing nice things for once versus just the people at the top of the social ladder fucking everybody else below
we'll
them.
Get to
or
it.
I'll do nice things for you, but yeah. Only if you kill off my entire family, that kind of stuff.
Do you think in this season we'll get all 4 of those stories, or do you think it'll just be one of those stories?
So I think I could be wrong. Like I said, it's been a while since I read it. But I think one of the stories is just about this tourney. So I think this season will be the tourney. And it's a good way to stretch out the series to 3 or 4 seasons or whatever they want to do, because it's okay, this is this adventure, and we can tell it real nice and quick and short, but also keep people subscribed to HBO for the next couple seasons, and in between House of the Dragon stuff,
and not saying it's so much cheaper, but because it is still an expensive looking show,
it fits right in with everything.
You're not getting onto boats and crossing the sea and seeing distant lands. You're at this one tournament. You're there. There's no traveling. You're done.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, HBO has the money to afford, and they're going all in on Game of Thrones shows. Now that's over, they have House of the Dragon, all that stuff.
Spend it now, because you're going to be sold to, along with WB, you're going to be sold to Netflix. So,
but you can basically just use stock footage. I don't think you have to recreate a bunch of places.
No,
because it's not like he's. At least from what I remember, I don't think he's spending a ton of time in King's Landing or anything like that. And I'm sure they haven't like completely destroyed those sets. Like they're not obviously because they're using it for House of the Dragon and stuff.
But a lot of those productions, they build it cheap and then they knock it down. We got to build it again. We'll build it again.
Maybe, but
back in the day, that's when we had like huge studios and sets, and they reused the same city over and over again. Not anymore.
Well, either way, I for a first episode, I really enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to see where the rest of the season goes and like how it rides the line tonally of like funny and also it's still the Game of Thrones world.
Yeah, that in the looking forward, the big tournament looks like it's going to be some of like amazing choreography and it's probably some of the best night battles we'll have. Looks good.
All right,
let's get to the main topic. 28 years later, the Bone Temple. I think it's only been like 7 months since the last movie. This is part 2 in a trilogy. It's a different director, same writer, still Alex Garland, but now it's Nia DaCosta. Everyone's favorite director from the Marvels.
Candyman remake.
Candyman, yeah. Like, I don't blame her for the Marvels. That was I don't blame anyone who made a bad Marvel movie, yet they are studio meddling 101. They're the kings of that. So, the Marvels was never going to be my favorite movie, but I know they had to deal with a lot of bullshit on that. So, I don't blame her for that. She comes back swinging. This movie, so fucking good. Like, I had such a blast the entire time. Even when it's, like, horribly mean-spirited and disgusting, still a great time.
Yeah, I went into this sort of, even though, like, I liked the trailer, I went in with low expectations. No shade to Nia DaCosta, but it was like, Danny Boyle's the guy.
Yeah.
Like, this is his franchise.
Mm-hmm.
I like 28 Weeks Later.
Yeah.
That's a good time.
Still a good time.
But it's not the first one. Yeah. And then 28 Years Later came out, and was my favorite movie of last year. Yep. I fucking love that movie. I don't think this movie is as strong as 28 Years Later. I've seen a lot of people go like, I think it's better.
I think it's better.
Fair enough. But I still had a really good time with this. And I was one of those people who's like, I didn't love that like Jimmy shit at the end. It seems just so weird to like tack that on to like this emotionally heart-wrenching bit at the end. And then it's like, what the fuck is this about?
Yeah.
But I think this movie elevates that to where it's like, okay, well, that's basically a teaser for this movie.
Yep, that's the post-credit scene.
Yeah.
Don't think of it as part of the movie,
So I think what would have, and maybe, did they have like credits for a bit and then jumped into the Jimmy shit?
No, it was just...
I think that might have helped if they were like...
It would have, yes.
Here's the end of the movie, now here's this extra scene.
Yeah.
I think that's the only thing I would have changed, really. Because
it soured a lot of people on that entire movie.
It really did. And it didn't sour me on the movie itself, it just soured me on that scene. But now, having this movie out, it's like, okay, I'm fine with that scene now. Because even though I don't like it as much as the last one, because I don't think like the story and the characters are as strong, and it also like that movie with 28 Years Later was the Spike story, and Spike's in this, but Spike is like backseat as fuck. It's really the Ray Fiennes character, Dr. Kelson's movie, and the the Jack O'Connell character. They're all Jimmy, so it seems weird to just like say, well, this Jimmy. Anyway,
but they do have names like Jimmy Inc. and Jimina is one of the girls. Like they all have their own version.
I don't remember that though. They're all Jimmy to me. But yeah, this movie, I guarantee, will have one of my favorite scenes of the year at the end. Yeah, this movie fucking rips, dude. And there's scenes like I had to look away. I was like squinting like at the screen at times because it's fucking nasty. But I don't
think it's as nasty as the last one. We got a lot more heads ripping off in the last one.
Yeah, I mean, it's not as like action oriented as the first one. There's really not that many like action pieces at all, but it still like held my attention the whole time, and I like the idea. I'm always a fan of like science versus religion, and like the plus and minuses to whatever, and Ray Fiennes just goes to, once again, just puts in another great performance in a movie. He doesn't have to be in this franchise.
No, really.
Like, he's one of the all-time great actors.
Voldemort, man.
Yeah. He's one of the all-time great actors who could just do, like, Shakespearean shit for the rest of his life and Oscar bait stuff. But he's doing the fourth entry into a horror franchise that's been going for 20 years or whatever. And, man, he is so fucking good in this movie. And especially at the end, which we'll get to later, just like really fucking sells it. So anyway, let's get into it. What'd you think of what did you have to say about the Jimmies?
Huge pieces of shit.
Terrible monsters.
Absolute scumbags. I think, we get a head rip and we get like some flayed torsos and stuff. I think the thing that got me the most was Spike stabbing that dude in the leg and all the blood coming out and him bleeding out. Like, that kind of got me. And I could feel that one. It's just, it's one of those injuries that can happen to anybody.
Sure.
Like, so many people died because they would use like glass in their shower door and they'd fall through it and cut their femoral artery and bleed out. And it's like, I'm not going to get my head ripped off anytime soon, spine and all. It's not going to happen.
Horror movie stuff.
But that could happen to me. Yeah. Just like in a car accident. It could happen. So that really got me. I like the Jimmies because, and it's weird because I didn't know who Jimmy Savile was. And after the first movie, everyone was talking about, they're based on Jimmy Savile, this notorious like pedophile who was like a kid's TV show host, went to visit kids in the hospitals and everybody loved Jimmy Savile. But apparently he was a huge, disgusting monster and nobody knew until after he was dead. And so in this world, they would have never discovered that information. And so this is who they're taking their personas off of because it's a tracksuit and the blonde hair. But he never mentions that name. He calls himself Jimmy Crystal.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, is he getting his people mixed up? Is he thinking of Billy Crystal, the comedian, but knows who Jimmy Savile is? But Jimmy Savile would be a bigger name to him than Billy Crystal. I don't understand the Crystal part.
Well, even though I understand, like everyone said, like, this is based off of Jimmy Savile or whatever, at one point in the movie he's talking and it's like, oh yeah, well, this is a religious thing where Old Nick is actually another name for Satan and Old Nick's son was Jimmy. And it's like, where's this from? Like, I don't know if it's like an English thing that I'm just not aware of. Because it's something he made up.
Yeah.
Because like, he saw from the first movie, 28 years later, he saw his dad, who was a priest, get like ripped to shreds and, had this, whole religious awakening and these are all demons sent from hell, and I am the son of Satan, and whatever, and yada, yada, yada. But it's like, where is he getting this fucking lore from? Yeah. And maybe the movie explains it, and I just kind of, like, missed it.
Maybe, I don't know.
But, yeah, I wasn't sure if he's actually pulling... Yeah, I mean, design-wise, I imagine he pulled that from there, but, like, in terms of, like, this backstory that he's created for himself, I don't know where that's coming from.
Don't know, but I really enjoyed watching them. They all seemed like creeps.
I think my biggest problem with the Jimmies is you have Spike there, who is, the audience surrogate for, like, why you're following these people, and, like, you're worried about Spike, and you care about him from the first movie, so you want to, see him live. But he, like, kind of builds a relationship with, not a romantic relationship, but a friendship with one of the other Jimmies who, like, we see it, like, has no problem doing these horrible things, but is kind of, like, more like, hey, kid, like,
she hasn't completely lost her mind.
Yeah, she's not a complete monster, even though that she is a monster.
Yeah.
And she does have, like, one cool, like, roll flip, like, knife cut. It's like, I want to see her do more of that stuff.
Yeah.
Because, like, it seemed like they were good fighters. But I didn't really see them do...
Not too much.
Too much. Anyway, I just didn't get why, like, she would really turn. I understand that it was kind of going like, well, maybe this guy who's, like, claiming to be the son of Satan isn't really him, but it's not like she had any evidence of that until, like, near the end of the movie. It just kind of seemed like, well, we need someone to, like, help betray him.
I think she's just a survivor. She knew she had to play along, otherwise it's her death, and she's eventually sees this as a way out.
Fair enough. Okay. So, yeah, and I liked Spike so much from the first movie to see him kind of sit back this movie. I was kind of like a little bit disappointed.
Yeah.
But that being said, I still had a good time. I guess maybe my struggle with this whole franchise is like I would go in thinking it's one thing, and then it's a completely different other thing. And sometimes I think it works really well, and sometimes maybe not as well as I wanted it to. But anyway, Jimmy, what do you think of the flaying scene?
Not as rough as I expected it to be. When they said like de-shirt them, I was like, okay, I know what de-gloving is. I could only imagine what de-shirting is, or remove the shirt, or whatever he says. I thought we would see stuff getting pulled away. When you're just seeing the aftermath and they got some red jelly all over them.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, at the first cut, don't they, you see
a little
that's
bit.
Where I turned away.
I expected a grabbing at the clavicle and just pulling down, big swaths of it, and you really don't see that. So yeah, that for a gross, gory thing, I don't know. I think it could have been more gross. It's effective, for sure. But it didn't really gross me out at all. But I gotta say, for that scene, that's not how propane tanks work. You can't just turn a knob. They have a special valve that when it gets connected to the actual tube that goes into whatever machine it does, it presses on that, and then the gas comes out. You couldn't just turn the knob and light it. Just saying. But whatever, it's still a cool weapon. That just feels like a video game thing of you get 10 seconds of using it, then you would have to throw it before it explodes. And yeah, I'm glad some of those Jimmys got fucked up. I'm glad it was the really ugly Jimmy. He had a real fucked up face. He looked like he would be a perfect orc. I'm glad he was the one that went first. I didn't like looking at him.
What do you think about their, I have 7 fingers, and if you want to join the crew, you have to kill one of the other ones?
It's a good idea, being a fist, and, it's kind of cool lore.
And what the movie never really says, but I think you can pick up on, it's like, well, why is this whole crew like young people? Well, it's because young people would fall for this shit.
Yeah.
Because the old people would remember the past well. Like, these kids grew up in this world. So they're, I would imagine, easy to manipulate. Because I didn't really think much about it. I was like, oh yeah, why has he just got teenagers on this team?
Because he would try to recruit an adult and they'd just be like, I'm not listening to you. Yeah. What are you talking about? I'm like, oh, I can't manipulate him. Kill him. He's one of, I don't want to say Satan's
we need to give him charity.
Yeah, exactly. Let's talk about Dr. Kelson.
I believe it's Kelson, yeah.
Yeah. Just, doing his thing,
still living in the Bone Temple.
We got to see it, him, a little callback. He brought that pregnant woman who gave birth to that baby last time. Got to, see her body get disposed of. And, he's still hanging out with his good buddy Alpha, who's now showing up like a stray dog who knows when you feed him. He's oh, you got any more of that morphine? Huh? Makes me feel real good.
Yeah, this is another thing I didn't expect to be in this movie, where it's a friendship comedy of a doctor who's drugging up this serial killer, essentially, just to have, someone to hang out with. Now, obviously, there's, a hope that
he's doing scientific investigation during
there's more to it. But he's also kind of I think, resigned himself to death. Because there's a scene where they're sitting next to each other and he takes a lick of the morphine. And he just leans back and I think he knows I might not wake up from this because once Samson snaps out of it, he's going to kill me. Yeah. But then Samson fucks off and leaves and he wakes up. He's like, okay, that's pretty cool that dude decided not to kill me. It was fun because we don't really get much of Kelson. I mean, we do. But we don't know any of his real backstory, I think, from the first movie. We actually see how he lives in his little thing, and we see pictures of his life. And he's obviously one of the older people who survived this world. Yeah. So he still remembers things, but a lot of it's faded because he's lived in this world for so long. Yeah. He's melted so many people down. And he's just a real fun character. So I'm glad we got to see more of him. At what point did you go, Samson's going to talk?
You know what?
Or was there any point where you're I think it's just, built up to nothing?
I feel like that they were going to do it, because why else would we spend so much time because every time he's drugging him up, his eyes are getting more and more clear. You know, they're not as bloodshot. I did like that shot that we see like Samson vision, and he just sees the guy he rips his head off of as like a threat, like another monster. So I knew it was gonna happen, but I thought it would be a little more gradual. You'd get grunts, and then he would coax it out of him. But the guy just goes, moon. And, like, it got me. I was like, wow, that was a good scene.
It's like Caesar saying no.
Exactly! but it wasn't the moon that got me. It was him in the train and says, oh, I don't have a ticket. Like, so perfectly clear. It was like that trapped person behind is just finally able to come out for once. And it just, because I thought he would just be a monosyllabic sort of guy. And I never thought I would give a shit about Alpha. He was the kind of the joke in the last one of like, hey, the zombie with the huge cock that's running around. But he becomes like an actual character. We see him as a younger boy. Like he was on that train at some point.
Yeah. It's like he turned here and just stayed here for like is his hunting ground.
Yeah.
Which is, that's probably one of my favorite scenes in this movie is the edit of just like him being on the train and then you just see in the distance like one of the like zombies kind of like running in the back distance. You're like, oh, that's kind of scary. And then it like cuts to him and he's like a little bit older. He looks out and then like all those people are staring at him. It's like in the trailer, like, oh, that's really scary. But why would they do that? Like zombie monsters are like instantly kill. But then it like cuts back to where we are and then all those people who are standing up are just like the zombies. And I was like, man, that was like a really cool.
Yeah. And now
really
he's
cool
immune. Because they get blood all over him, they bite his neck, and he doesn't go crazy again. He may not be 100% cured, but he comes back to save the doctor, and he's not...
No, he doesn't, but he does come back.
Well, he comes back, but he seems to be... He even talks one more time, he says, like, thank you, Dr. Kelson.
Yeah.
So he hasn't gone in full crazy rage mode anymore. So, like in Daybreakers, once you get cured of the vampirism, your vampirism, like, you can't turn back into a vampire. So I think that's kind of where we're going with that.
Yeah, I was curious. It was like, he kind of snaps out of it. It's got to suck where you're like, I've been a monster for 20 years or however long, and then you wake up and like, wow, I'm human again, and then immediately get attacked by 15 zombies that you have to like, rip apart with your bare hands, and he's just like coated in blood, and you're wondering like, does it instantly bring him back, or is it kind of one of those things where it's like, oh, I got some in me, so I have to fight off again, or whatever it is.
And then he's thinking like, man, a couple days ago I was eating someone's brain. That's gross.
Yeah, I would love to know if he remembers everything or like nothing. Because God damn it, I hope I remember nothing.
I think I brought it up before. There's a zombie movie with Elliot Page where there was a zombie outbreak, but they found a cure, and you are aware of what you're doing as a zombie, but you can't control it. Yeah. So everybody looks down at you because when you come back, and like, I couldn't help myself. I'm like, yeah, well, you ate my fucking daughter, and like I couldn't help it. It's pretty good. That's good.
Yeah, I mean, I question the validity. Like, I understand that the virus is like, oh, it was acting as steroids that made him bigger and stronger and stuff. I'm like, cool. I totally buy that. But like having the consistent diet to maintain that muscle on just like human brains,
protein, baby.
Doesn't feel like there's enough like food to go around.
I know he's like
killing deer and stuff.
Yeah, we saw them like pulling worms out of the ground to eat. So they're chasing down deer and
it's fine. I don't really care that much.
I think all zombies like your muscles would deteriorate, but who knows how this virus works? Like they're showing that it's pretty much kind of like a psychosis, that it's maybe not 100% a virus.
So this is another problem I have with the movie, and by problem I mean like it's a throwaway problem. It's not that big a deal. But so Kelson not necessarily figures out a cure, but like he is able to like get through to Samson. Great. But this thing has been going on for 28 years, and he doesn't have the full resources of like labs. And I understand like we've established in the last one, the world kind of like abandoned this island, and just kind of like went about its business and was like, fuck them, they're on their own. Okay. I don't believe for one fucking second they didn't capture one of these things, and they're just like doing testing here. And they're just like, they have to be trying to work out a cure, and no one figured this fucking shit out in the 20. Like Dr. Kelson accidentally did it just because he had a morphine cocktail mix.
They have boats patrolling, and I think in the lore of everything is this is such a volatile thing, you can't risk getting one out. Like, I'm sure there has been, we're going to study this thing. Like 28 weeks later, how it went to shit really, really quick. I'm sure there were boats that had test subjects and things went bad and the world just went, no, you don't get to touch this. You don't get to try to treat it. You don't get to study it. It is just cut off.
Yeah. I mean, I get behind that idea and I can accept that. That's why I'm like, whatever, not a big deal. You know, maybe it's just me seeing so many movies about outbreaks and stuff where, like, even if you're, like, going, we absolutely can't let this thing out. I'm like, I just can't see a world where they, like, don't build, like, an underground lab on that island where they're, like, doing testing. It's like, hey, if any of us get infected, like, blow up the fucking lab or whatever. But whatever. That's neither here nor there. I'm just saying, like, I just find it shocking. Like, he is the one to figure out the cure, but...
I think if the change didn't come so quick, like a normal zombie thing, you get bit, maybe you got a couple days, you die, then you turn. Since this is instantaneously, you can't control that. So
whatever.
I'm sad that Kelson dies. Yeah. I think he should have been able to make it through. I wanted him to meet up with Cillian Murphy. Mm-hmm. You know, eventually, like those two just
great actors
needed to work together. Because, like, if Spike died, that would suck, you know. But I could live with that. I really wanted him. He's the star of these.
Yeah, but I think it makes more sense. It's like, well, one, he's the big name of this movie, and it's like, okay, you get 2 movies out of me or whatever, and now he doesn't have to do any more of this shit. But Spike is your through line. And
it's
like,
true.
Yeah, it's cool if Kelson would have to go with Spike. Spike couldn't die.
Yeah.
Because then, like, what would be the point of the whole first 28 years later movie?
No.
But
maybe Ray Fiennes was like, you want me in some place that's not the Bone Temple? Absolutely not. I film in the Bone Temple and nowhere else.
I'm filming 2 movies in 2 weeks right here. You film everything else after I go on. But yeah, I'm interested to see, like, I mean, we'll skip over the big scene and just go to the end. Cillian Murphy's back. He's got his daughter. We don't see Naomi Harris, so who knows if she's coming back or not.
I hope. I mean, like, I would assume that she, like, was that girl 10, 11?
Yeah, 10 to 12.
Okay, we'll say 12. You know, but we've been going on for 28 years, so you know they had this kid more recently than it's not like they hooked up right as, at the end of that first movie. Also, there's a little girl at the end of the first movie that survived with them. So I wonder what happened to her. It'd be lame if they just killed them off story-wise. Like, if they could get them back, I would like them to get back. And maybe they're off on a hunting party. And that's just, we just hadn't seen them.
Because we only see, like, the inside of their house. I don't think we see their, like, setup. They're like, oh, what's that sound? And then they go out.
You just see them running down the hills.
Because they could be part of a group.
They could. Like,
the movie makes it seem like they're just in a house that's nearby.
Yeah.
But, like, it's got to be defensible in some way if they survive this long.
Well, I mean, at the end of the first movie, they just had, like a big help sign or something that they made out of blankets at that cottage with, a helicopter flying by. I guess that didn't work out.
Yeah, it didn't work out.
And it's funny, before we move on from, like, The Cure, if you watch the first movie, there's a bunch of deleted scenes of they weren't sure how they were going to end the movie. And it's like, Jim gets infected and they got to put him down. Oh, he gets infected and they figure out the only way to cure it is like a full blood transfusion.
Take all the bad blood out.
It's like, I'm so glad they didn't deal with any of that. It would have really tarnished the rest of these movies. So, but anywho,
so
it's interesting. I don't know what, like you said, you never know what movie you're going to get going into that. I have no idea what the next one's going to be. Sure, it's 2 people meeting up with this family, and then what?
The whole all this Samson stuff just seems like setting up for this next film. Like, all of Spike's stuff and Dr. Kelson was set up for this movie. Now all the stuff with Samson and Spike leaving the Jimmys to set up for the next film where they meet up with Killian. It's just like, but yeah, is it all about, if this is the final one in the series, like, is it just there is a cure? Does Samson come back and it's just like,
I'm your inside man.
I'm doing the Brad Pitt thing where like they don't really see me because I'm still partially infected or something.
But they seem to they attacked him on the train.
I know.
So
but he also did speak English at that point.
Yeah, it's like, do we bring Samson back or is he just like done?
I don't know. I don't even have a pitch for this movie.
The only thing I can think of is like Cillian Murphy and them all, like, they realize, oh, you mean there's Spike, you came from a town with people? We haven't been around people forever. We're going to go back there because that's community.
Yeah.
And so then it's like, oh, you're back to the beginning,
if you get to bring Aaron
Taylor Johnson back,
yeah. It's like the two dads. So I think Cillian Murphy dies in the next movie. And then or does he die? And then it's like cut to 28 years later again. And now Spike and Cillian Murphy's daughter are all grown up. And maybe the world is like starting to like build itself back together now. Because enough time has passed. They're like maybe not fully cured, but like they're, the world is coming together.
Yeah, the world's made a push to like, we've got it fenced in. Now the fence is getting smaller and smaller. We're wrangling everything. Yeah. We're going to...
Like, the mission of the next movie will be like, oh, Kelson figured something out. We got to tell them.
Yeah, but...
get some information.
Does Spike even know that Kelson did shit?
No.
Yeah, so like all that research is for nothing. So if Samson shows up all battle scarred and half naked, they'll be like, what the fuck's going on? We got to kill him no matter what.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that'd be the easiest way to like solve that problem. Like Samson rolls up and is like, "Hey guys," and I remember Kelson made this thing or whatever. Like I remembered everything he said, even though like I wasn't processing it properly. But I don't know. So let's get to
the best scene.
The best scene I'll probably see this year, and it's in the first 2 weeks of the year.
Yeah, fuck Avengers Doomsday.
So eventually, the Jimmys roll up on Dr. Kelson, and they see him in his like red iodine skin, in his bone temple, and they're like, "Oh, that's Satan."
And he's like dancing with one of the monsters.
With Samson. So, he must have control over these creatures. And Jack O'Connell's character is like, fuck, like, now how do I, like, I've been tricking these people this whole time. How do I get them to buy it? I'll go talk to this guy first. I got to go talk to my dad, guys. And he's like, listen here, man. You need to pretend to be the devil or I'm going to, like, gut you like a fish. And Dr. Kelson's like, all right, cool.
Yeah, I love that scene. And just like, let's just be matter of fact with this. We're not going to toy with each other.
Like, I love Ralph Fiennes' this movie so much because everyone he interacts with, like, he just looks like a fucking psycho.
Yeah.
The whole time, but he's just the nicest guy in the apocalypse, and it's so fucking cool. He's so good. And Jack O'Connell's great too.
Yeah.
And so eventually, Jack O'Connell goes back to the group. It's like, hey guys, tomorrow night you're going to meet the devil, but you can't talk to him and you can't touch him. Only I can because I'm the son of the devil. And they're like, cool, man. And so then they get there. They walk through the bone temple. Dr. Kelson put all these like candles up and then puts on the fucking most metal show you'll see this year. He puts on a song from Led Zeppelin called like the
666 Sign of the Beast, something
Sign
like
of the
that.
Beast or whatever it's called, and just does this whole dance and like
black makeup, leather coat,
and obviously these kids have never seen anything like this.
Yeah,
so like
they probably haven't even heard like music before. So when you're hearing it just coming out of a speaker from the distance, that's enough to fucking freak them out.
Yeah, you probably think like, oh, I'm hearing this in my head, and it's going. It has like an intro part to it. And it's so fucking cool.
He blows coke in all their faces,
or some sort of powder, and so they're tripping. And then he disappears and comes back, and he's like covered in like armor, and he's swinging fire around.
That's so fucking cool.
And like all the kids are getting hyped, and Jack O'Connell's like screaming. It's awesome. This scene fucking rules. And he's really selling like, I am the devil and you are my minions. And Jack O'Connell's kind of like, hey guys, well, Dad wants us to, go out and do more charity and recruit more members so we can spread, the devil's work. And then he's like, yeah,
sure.
cool. And then he realized Spike's there, and so then he's like, hey, Jesus died for their sins, so God killed his only son. You guys should kill my son, and then go do that work. And they're like, okay, the devil said we got to do it. Jack O'Connell stabs Ray Fiennes. Then they crucify Jack O'Connell, and Spike and the girl fuck off, and Samson comes back and carries Kelson off. And
comes back as the devil, like with horns and everything.
Jack O'Connell's like bleeding, and this was such great work of not only like crucifying upside down, but like he has like the same wound in the side that's very Christ-like. I was like, okay, that's a good little detail, but yeah, he's all coked up and losing blood and delirious, and then sees Samson walking up slowly with giant devil horns, which is also fucking badass.
Yeah,
and then the devil carries Kelson away, and then Jack O'Connell gets eaten by other zombies.
Yeah, that's my least favorite thing of this movie is that little jump scare of a zombie jumping out of his face.
There's 3 jump scares in this movie, and they're all like so
kind of
cheap, and see him coming.
Yeah, and I think
there's like zero horror element to this movie. I feel like
it's not
it's about like the people's horror, versus like the monster horror.
Yeah. And I think we deserve seeing Jack O'Connell getting ripped apart in some way. Samson's known for like pulling the heads off of people. Why not now?
Well, now he wouldn't do it because he's
now he wouldn't do it, but like he needed to die, and we needed to see it.
Yeah, I can see that, but the point is that he gets his comeuppance.
Yeah.
So, or maybe they did film something like that, and they're like, yo. Unless you want NC-17, you got to cut this shit down. They're like, fuck it, we'll just cut the scene entirely.
It just doesn't, feel as satisfying watching. Like, it's better to leave it to your imagination.
We end the movie on a nice emotional beat. We don't end it on a gruesome thing that'll take you out and forget you. And realize you're watching a movie. So, all in all, I don't think I have anything else to say. Other than overall, I didn't think it was as emotionally satisfying as the first one, or as visually interesting as 28 Years Later. But did I have a good time all the way through? You betcha.
Yeah.
So what a franchise turnaround.
Yeah.
Of just no one really expected 28 Years Later to come out or be anything, and then it was fucking awesome. And then this movie comes out and it's a different director, and you're like, it's probably not going to be as good.
It still feels the same.
It still feels the same.
But not as annoying. There's parts in Danny Boyle's one that would flash to old World War I footage, or have that sort of lockdown camera attached to the body as people are running, that kind of iPhone, quick snapshot stuff like that. That shit was really bothered me in the last one. This one, it's a much more steady hand, and I think it's a better movie for it.
I mean, this one is a more traditionally made movie. I think Danny Boyle definitely took bigger swings. There's parts where you see from I think it's kind of the Rage Virus vision, where it's all in red.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought that worked really well. I think that there's his big swings with some of the camera work I found super interesting. I'm glad he did those things and kind of set it apart versus this, which is it still feels like the same world, but didn't do as many interesting things with the camera that 20 Years Later did. But that being said, Nia DaCosta did a great job, and acting-wise, Ray Fiennes fucking kills it.
Yeah.
Just all around badass all the way through. Gross. Built more on the world, and yeah, I look forward to 28 Years Later.
Resurrections.
Yeah.
Reloaded.
Electric Boogaloo, whatever you want to call it. I'll be there, because 2 for 2, A- for your boy here.
I'm giving
Last year was an A. This year it's an A-. I've seen 2 A- movies this week. It's been great.
That's awesome.
And then a C.
Sure, yeah. My last thing is, what happened to the pregnant lady? She ran off. She got away. Never saw her again.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
But not super important, but I figured we'd catch up with her at some point, you know.
Also, I mean, I was listening to a podcast, back to that family, who you meet for 10 minutes. So there's living in this world, and I get the idea of like, oh, well, like, we're running low on bullets. The apocalypse has been going on for so long. We don't really have traditional weapons anymore, so we have spears. But it seems like the worst fucking weapon. I know you kind of have to use like some sort of bludgeoning tool, but like you're stabbing them in the neck, and then that just shoots blood into your face.
Yeah.
Like, you're just kind of asking to get the rage virus. There's got to be some better tool to kill these things. Like the bow and arrows that Spike and they were using, like, makes sense. We got to keep distance. And obviously, like, close range, you got to do something. So it's better than nothing. But it just seems like
Girl Jimmy is like, she's like ducking and like cutting throats.
That's what I thought was great. It's like, this is a move I can do. It'll keep distance even though I'm in close range. It was awesome.
Seeing that in the trailer, it's like, oh, they're really moving away from how deadly this blood is. But I'm glad that one guy did get one little drop on him, instantly turned. So I'm like, okay, it's still there. But yeah, close quarters, like Walking Dead, stab all you want, get the goop all over you. It don't matter. This one, you need
swim in there.
You need a long pole to keep them away.
Yeah. Because when they, in the beginning of the movie, after they kill the one kid and they walk outside, a rage zombie comes after one and kind of just like gets on their back. One of the kids like jumps on its back and stabs in the head, which is like, okay, that kind of makes sense because there's not like a lot of like skin and blood up there, or you just kind of, and you know, you can be one and done.
Yeah.
But like if you're just battering them in like the neck and wherever, you're just like, blood's gonna get all over the place.
But the nice thing about this, like if they were regular zombies, you stab them in the neck or whatever, they don't die. You have to destroy the brain. Where this, if you cut their hand off, they would bleed out.
Yeah. And
they would die. So, yeah. It's like, they're not zombies. Even though they say the word zombies, Jimmy does say, like, Bob, before all this zombie shit happened, like, hey, they said it. But it's like, it's one of those, well, they're not actually zombies. Zombies are flesh eaters, and these are rage virus people. And it's like, shut up. They're zombies.
Yeah. They're zombies.
Yeah. A-, good, thumbs up.
Good times. Go see The Bone Temple.
Let's
and then go watch the porn parody The Bone Temple that me and Ben wrote.
I was just thinking, it's like 28 beers later, and it's two guys who are like totally straight, and they're just like, after 28 beers, they head into the Bone Temple, you know? Anywho, well, we had
not bad.
A great movie this week. Next week, it's going to be a rougher week.
What's next week, Ben?
Next week is Return to Silent Hill. It's going to be kind of a low-grade movie. But the one I want you to see.
Okay.
Mercy.
Ugh.
The terrible, terrible AI judge movie.
God damn it. Okay.
If you can't, you know, I understand. We'll maybe do a this meets that or something, but that's the one I want to talk about because I just know.
Have you looked at the runtime? It's got to be 90 minutes, right?
I'm almost 100% sure it's...
Because I think the trailer was just like, we only have 90 minutes to solve this case.
Sure, yeah. Ooh. Hour 40.
Ugh. Okay.
100 minutes.
Well,
it's
7 of that is credits, so...
Yeah, so it will survive. There was something else I saw that was coming to our theater. I think it's the week after. Oh, Iron Lung. The Markiplier movie?
Yeah, that's the only thing I know about it. It's a Markiplier horror movie.
It's like he self-funded it, and it's like based off of a video game called Iron Lung that I guess he streamed, and they approached him on making it. They did their own sort of distribution. At first, like, theaters are like, oh, we'll give you 3 theaters. He's like, absolutely not. I have millions of followers. I'm going to get a wide release.
It'd be so funny if this movie's fucking awesome. And Markiplier's just like, yeah, I didn't know anything about cinema, but I put this thing together, and Chris Stuckman's over there. It's like, I've been reviewing movies and fucking studying cinema my whole life.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. I mean, that's 2 weeks from now. We're not going to, that's like Send Help, I think, is the other big one, which I'm sick of seeing that trailer. That's before everything. But anywho, next week.
I think that movie looks okay.
Yeah.
I don't think it looks bad. It's just I'm tired of the trailer. Yeah.
2 great actors, good director. I'm making my prediction now. They kill each other. They don't get off that island. You know, they just lay there bleeding out, you know, like, well, I guess you were a formidable foe after all. You know, some dumb shit.
And then Dylan O'Brien turns into the smoke monster.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, next week, Return to Silent Hill and Mercy from me. That's for damn sure.
I'll figure something
we'll
out.
We'll try something. Or next week we'll do what this meets that. Maybe a make me watch, Who
knows? That's the fun of this podcast, man. You never know what you're going to get other than mediocrity.
All right. Well, if you want to get in contact with us, we are at WRPLpodcast@gmail.com. We're on Instagram, TikTok, Threads, and Blue Sky. As always, I'm Ben.
And I'm Steve.
And keep consuming.